Hi everyone, I'm E, the Empty Nester. Welcome to my show today. We're going to talk about kombucha tea, and it's basically a fermented tea that you kind of start like a sourdough bread. How you get, how you get a starter from someone else to start creating the bread flavor. I've been looking at this for a while, and in the past I really never was interested in kombucha or fermented foods until I got really sick and couldn't eat anything. And then I learned from a number of YouTube channels, off Grid with Doug and Stacy and Daddy Kerb's Farm. They both do a lot of kombucha fermenting. And I've read a number of websites and seen a number of other videos on how to start kombucha from a store-bought product. You need a SCOBY, which is a symbiotic organism that's made of fungus and yeast. And the way you get it is buying one of these bottles from the store. They're right under $4 everywhere that I've found them, and most places suggest using the pure kombucha. When I bought it, there was no sign of life in the bottom of it, where with the cranberry ginger right here, I bought this one, and then a week later I bought this one, and it had a good amount of what looked like possible SCOBY starts, little bitty pieces in there, plus fruit, possible pulp in it. And it turned out this was a good choice. No, I didn't use this one. I drank this one. I'm sorry. I used Strawberry Serenity because it had a little bit of what could be a SCOBY start in the bottom, and it turned out this worked perfect, and there was no mold. You have to really watch for mold when you're using fruit. And I bought this one a couple weeks later and have been drinking it. It's a cranberry ginger flavor. And when you mix this stuff with fruit, it makes it easier to drink. It's kind of like a carbonated drink because it's fuzzy, but it's also like a vinegary taste. The longer it sits, the more vinegar taste it has. So adding juice to it makes it more palatable. But if you like tea, I'm not a tea drinker, but if you like tea, it'll be like a carbonated tea to begin with. And the longer it sits, the more, potent it becomes. I'm going to go ahead and take you in the house and show you up close how I made the SCOBY. I've sterilized this jar and put in a cup of boiling water and a green tea bag and 2 teaspoons of sugar. And when it cools off, I'm going to add a cup of the organic kombucha Strawberry Serenity. If you look at the bottom, or let's see if we can get it in more light, you can see stuff in the bottom that could be starting to form, parts of the bacteria called the mother. And I'm going to pour this in and cover it and let it sit. I'm going to shake this bottle up and pour it in there. Kind of fizzing. But now I've got a coffee filter. I'm going to put that on top to keep anything out of the bottle. And put the jar ring on. Okay, now put it in a dark cabinet. Okay, in the dark cabinet, and close the door. It was June 20th. It's 13 days later now, and we'll take a look at how it's going. each day you can see this forming. Every few days I take a look at it, and you need the SCOBY to be about 1/4 of an inch thick, and it's getting there. You want to make tea the way you normally do for sweet tea. With this one I'm doing 10 cups of water and 10 tea bags and 10 teaspoons of sugar. It's 1-on-1, and I'm using an organic black tea. You want filtered water, clean water, non-chlorinated water. Chlorine may harm your SCOBY. And I can also, I did the starter with the organic green tea. But we'll let this steep for about 6-7 minutes and then squeeze out the bag and let it cool off and add it to the container. It is at least 1/4 of an inch now, and you can kind of see some of the bubbling and going on underneath of there and right there. And it's kind of creating the carbonation for the drink. But I'm going to take the SCOBY out and put it into the tea that I made and get it fermenting. You want to make sure that your hands are clean, or you use something sterile, and the jar lid is kind of tight. I'm using a filter, like a coffee filter on here, and on top of the tea mix itself. Whoa, I dropped it. Not good. It looks like the bottom side of it is dark and light on the top side. And this wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I've seen people talk about you need to use a non-fruit drink. That one sunk and disappeared. But let's get the top cover on here. See if it comes back up to the top. I'm gonna get a rubber band on it. You can use a clean dish towel or something, but I prefer using the coffee filter versus the chance of lint or something. The whole purpose of having the cover on it is so it can breathe and nothing can get into it. No form of insect or anything. Now to get this into, it's kind of like lost in there. But that's okay. Now to get this into the cabinet, where temperatures need to stay, I think it was 60 something to 80. Let me look up the temperatures again. It's 84 degrees in this cabinet, and I put the Kombucha, the new one, and the old one back in to see if I can form a new mother. I've read that each time that you make a batch, the SCOBY multiplies, and you should throw away the old one after 3 uses and continue using the new ones that are made. And I'll put a link in the comment, in the subject area below, to a website that's got a lot of really good information as far as temperatures that you should ferment at, you know, 70s to 80s, and 84 is a really good temperature. It only took a couple weeks to go from beginning to end to get a new SCOBY in here, and within a week hopefully this will be a batch of kombucha tea that I can drink. And temperature is important. You want to keep it in the 80s if you can. If you've got a dark cabinet in the storage, that'll keep the growth perfect. And I'll put a link in the bottom in the subject area to another website that's got more information that I found helpful. And I'm really happy that I've been able to do this myself. Thank you all for stopping by, and I hope you give it a try. Have a great day.